Hey, everybody. I appreciate you joining me here from social media and my school and everywhere else. So, today is Think Thursday at 3 o'clock every Thursday. Excuse me, got something in my throat. I don't know what that was about. But anyway, welcome to Think Thursday at 3, 4 o'clock Central, where the topic is always around how we improve our relationship with food. Okay. So this week we're talking about why you keep going back to foods that don't love you back. Why we keep going back to foods that don't love us back. Why is that? What's going on? All right. So let's have some real talk. Now, some of you guys have been in a relationship for a long time, not necessarily with a person, but with your plate, right? And it's like a toxic ex. Like you've already pretty much already know how it ends. Okay, so you get temporary satisfaction, you get long term regret, like the bloating, the fatigue, the weight gain, the stubborn belly fat, the guilt, right? But somehow we keep spinning the block over and over and over. Why? It's because food is rarely just about food. So let me ask you guys something, okay? What's your toxic ex food? What's your toxic ex food? Let me know. Okay, I see some of you guys are saying bread. I'm saying bread again. Fries. Okay, soda. Excuse me. Late night sweets. Okay, fried chicken. Whoo, yes, nice. Okay, and ooh, okay. So let me tell you guys what mine used to be: chitlins, chicken, and cheese. All right. I didn't see chitlins on anybody's list, but that was mine. All right. You're looking at a girl from Nashville, Tennessee, and that's just the way we got down: chitlin, chicken, and cheese. Okay. So, but now that we've named it, we know what our toxic food is. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. We know what our toxic food is. The question now becomes, why do we keep answering when it calls? Why do we keep answering that toxic plate whenever it calls? That's how you start to heal your relationship with food. Okay. So, the relationship between people and foods is a lot more simpler, or a lot more similar than we think. Okay. So, when you have a toxic person in your life, maybe they make you feel good fast. Maybe they make you hurt later. Not maybe, they probably will. But with a toxic food, it's like the same pattern. Some foods will seduce you with comfort and then they charge you later on in inflammation. You see the cycle? With a person, you miss them, you go back, you feel good, you regret it, you leave, and then you repeat. With the food cycle, very similar. You have the craving, you eat, you feel good, you crash, you regret, and then you restart again on Monday. Okay? How many Mondays have you guys started over? Let me know. Let me know. Somebody said about 52. Okay, so a whole year, right? And actually, what is it? July 2nd, we're halfway through a whole nother year. How are you guys on your January goals? Right? So if you have started over, maybe the problem is not discipline. I hate when I hear people say that. You just need more discipline. That's not what this is about. This is actually more about attachment. So maybe that's what the issue is that we should focus on. Okay. So now let's talk about why food becomes like the ex that you can't let go. Okay. The first part of it is memory attachment. And let me give you some examples. Your grandmother's cake or pies. My grandmother's favorite pie that she used to make me was pecan pie. And especially around the holidays, it was really, really tough to let go. But what about some other simple things like movies and popcorn? A lot of my clients tell me they just go together, right? Of course it does, because that's the smart part about marketing. Okay? That's really the dark psychology of marketing. Is movies and popcorn. It's really tough to watch a movie without having popcorn or some kind of snack. What about Sunday dinners? Sundays and dinners. Usually associated in the black family, especially, it's associated with your families coming together. And of course, food is always the center of that. What about breakfast cereal? Okay. Listen, we're not always craving the food itself. Sometimes the craving is just the moment that's attached to it. So, an example, this is where marketing kind of works, right? They don't look up Edward Bernays. He was actually the nephew of Sigmund Freud, and he was a genius when it comes to dark psychology. Okay, they basically don't sell commercials. They don't sell products. They sell emotions, and emotional association shapes the behavior. Let me say that again. Emotional association will shape your behavior. So the memories are what they're selling, the belonging, the attachment, the identity, all of those things is what they're really selling. How many times have you watched a commercial and you were like, what was even the product? What was that even about? Maybe you don't know consciously, but your subconscious is taking notes. It is keeping tabs. And depending on how many times that you see that commercial or that advertisement, you'll all of a sudden think, I need that. I want that. Okay. So it's not always visible to the eye. So be careful of that. Okay. The next thing of why it's so hard to break up is the stress attachment. Okay. When stress rises, that's when discipline drops. When your stress rises, that's when your discipline drops. Okay. So the body looks for fast comfort, sugar, salt, fat, anything that's quick, anything that gives you that quick, fast dopamine, right? Your brain just remembers relief quicker than it does the consequences. It just wants to feel good now as quick as possible. So this is why you got to set yourself up for success. That's why you see the meal planning and all of those kind of things. But before you even go there, let's just talk about the steps on how to stay there, okay? The next thing we're going to talk about is identity attachment. This is really, really huge, you guys. Now, when you say things like, I'm a bread person, I love French fries, I love cheese, I need coffee, I want you to start challenging that, because that's not identity. That is conditioning. They are helping you condition yourself. So, what if the thing that you call your favorite food is actually your strongest dependency? Let me say that again. What if the thing that you call your favorite food is actually your strongest dependency? I want you to work on that question after we get off this live, okay? You guys already know, whenever you come to my lives, you want to bring a pen and pad, because I'm going to give you some good gems to actually work on, okay? Now, part 3 of this is, let's talk about the red flags of a toxic ex, okay? Red flag number 1, you hide it. Whether you're eating in the car, sneaking in snacks, you're just hiding it from people. I have people come to me, tell me all the time, I don't eat such and such that much anymore. It's like we weren't even talking about that at all. We were talking about flying kites. We were talking about the World Cup. And you say, well, I really don't eat as bad anymore. It's on your mind. And for some reason, my presence is kind of making you feel some sort of way. I promise you guys, I'm not here to guilt anyone at all. But I don't know. That's just what tends to happen. But red flag number 2, you start to negotiate with yourself. Like this person, I think in school, you said, uh, you started over 52 Mondays, right? So you probably kept saying, I'm going to start Monday, I'm going to start Monday, I'm going to start Monday, right? And what does that do? It makes you just feel bad, and it just repeats the cycle. So that's actually red flag number 3. If you're doing something and it makes you feel bad afterwards, that's another sign that we got to work a little bit deeper. Okay? If anything that you're doing that makes you feel bloated or makes you feel guilty or makes you feel sadder, more tired, that's another red flag. Red flag number 4, you know your triggers like stress, like loneliness, celebration, a Wednesday, right? Hump day, right? They tell you all these kind of things that's like, oh, in the middle of the week it's been rough, all that kind of stuff. And then you tell yourself, I need a break. I deserve this. That's where those kind of things come in. Got to be careful of that. And then the last red flag I want to talk to you guys about is that you keep going back despite all of this evidence. You keep going back. So if a person treated you the way that some foods make you feel, ask yourself, will your real true friends set up an intervention for you? Would they suggest that you go get counseling? If some of the foods that you eat made you feel the same way a person could, would your friends, real true friends, step up and say, hey, we got to talk? Think about that too, okay? Now, the thing about it all is that we got to learn how to listen to the communication, understand the communication, listen to the signs, okay? Because our bodies talk to us all the time. Because heart attacks don't start at the heart attack. It doesn't. Type 2 diabetes doesn't start at the diagnosis. Digestive dysfunction doesn't start when you finally feel it. Your body is constantly whispering to you, okay? Again, the bloating is what I hear mostly with the people that come to me. Constipation, fatigue, skin changes, the skin tags. That's actually a sign that you probably having too much sugar in your body, okay? The sleep issues is starting to be a big one. Mood swings. Don't allow the world to tell you that, okay, if it's becoming that time of the month that you're supposed to feel this way because of your cycle. That's BS. We're not supposed to cramp. We're not supposed to feel moody. We're not supposed to feel these things. It's supposed to just flow gently and only last 2 to 3 days at the most. But because the world has put all these other kind of things at our feet, it's no wonder why women are experiencing cycles for a whole week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. I got to 4 weeks sometimes. That's not, it's common, but it's not normal. Make sure you don't, confuse the two. Okay. The symptoms that we have are very, very, it's a conversation that your body's trying to talk to you. Okay. So your symptoms are conversations. Your body speaks to you before it starts to scream. So we've got to listen. We've got to listen. Okay. What has your body been trying to tell you guys? What are some of the things that you guys are going through where you think it's like, okay, something is not quite right? And I really want to understand what's really going on, but you may be too scared to go to the doctor. Let's talk about it right now. A lot of people are afraid. A lot of people are a little bit embarrassed by certain things, but I promise you, there's nothing that I haven't seen and haven't heard. So please don't be embarrassed. And that's why I talk about my story so often with my fibroids, being in the middle of a basketball game when I was in college and actually having an accident in my white uniform. It was a packed game. Everybody saw it. So you guys may see it too. Might as well. Like, what's the point? What's a few more people? All right. So there's nothing, when your body is communicating to you, we got to figure out a way to listen. Okay. So what are some of the things that you guys have been suffering from and you may be kind of tired? Okay, somebody said bloating. Yes, right? That bloating is really, it's just interesting. It is an uphill battle. That is something that I've dealt with. I'm still kind of dealing with it. It's not nearly as bad as it used to be. One of the biggest things that helped for me was to stop eating after a certain amount of time or after a certain time. Like if you're eating just constantly, 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 your body doesn't have time to digest this food. Okay. So things like this, I give free tips inside of my school. So you guys click the link wherever you're joining from, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and you guys are already in school. You guys just join inside there and I give free tips and they'll tell you. Okay. Someone that said they also have long cycles, right? Yeah, these things aren't normal, okay? Again, if you talk to some people in your friend circle, you may discover that you're not the only one, but don't allow that to make you comfortable either. Because just because you and your friends are going through similar things, don't make that just be like, oh, okay, I'm not the only one, I'm good then. No, okay? Somebody says, what do I consider a long cycle? So we're actually not supposed to have longer cycles more than 3 days. 2 to 3 days is it. And I know the average for most people is 7 days. It's becoming longer and longer. More clients that come to me, I'm seeing people that are 2 weeks and 3 weeks. After 5 days, that is no longer your cycle. And I give you an example because that's pretty popular. I'm seeing some more people saying the same thing. All right. Seeing the hearts and stuff. Okay. So I'll tell you for me, and this is only for me because everybody's different. We're not copy and paste bodies. When I noticed that I had continuous bloating and my cycles were lasting longer and longer and longer, I did what I could to eat cleaner, right? So I figured out how to eat cleaner. And I was just like, all right, I'm going to cook all of my foods and eat only plant-based for 3 to 4 months. So I think I lasted about 3.5, 4 months, cooked every last morsel of my food for that period of time. And I felt better. Cycles got regulated after maybe, I don't know, maybe month 3. And then I think when it got to month 4, it was regulated too to just less than a week. And I was like, oh, this is great. I'm healed. I'm cured. And then what do? I celebrate with food. I go back to the favorite fast food restaurants, getting my triple dippers, and I go back to the foods that were putting me in this position in the first place. Now, that's what happened for me. And I remember taking one bite of an egg, of a scrambled egg, and I literally felt it pass through my body, sternum, chest, it felt like I felt it passing through my small intestine, large intestine, and then it came out. And I was like, what was that? Like I was sitting on the couch eating, and literally within 30 seconds, it came out. And I was like, wait a minute. I just had my cycle about a week and a half ago. So what was that? So I rush and I run to the bathroom and there was a big red blob. And I was like, what the heck? Long story short, you guys, I did this back and forth thing with eggs and other meats. And it was like it happened 3 times to where I finally just got to a point where I retrained my brain to no longer desire those foods that were hurting me. Now, again, that may just be for me. Eggs for you or chicken for you and someone else, your body may require it. Actually, I have 3 clients right now where they require some animal foods. If they don't get it, they're literally going to die. So I'm not on this plant-based pedestal saying everybody should be plant-based, do not eat meat. I'm not saying that at all. I've experienced that for myself, and I'm saying that's what worked for me. But this is where blood work comes in. Because again, we're not copy and paste bodies. So we need to get extensive blood work done. And I'm not talking about the blood work where it's just 8 panels. I'm talking about 100 plus biomarkers is what needs to be tested. Okay. So if you're from YouTube, I think somebody from YouTube asked me that question. Great question. I appreciate you because it's going crazy in all the other social media platforms that are joining us today. And join my school to get this detailed information so I can help you guys on a whole nother level. Okay. We need to eat more raw foods. I believe that for some people. I'm actually doing 7 days raw fruit only myself. I don't know if you can see. Yeah. I'm only, but again, that's not for everybody. When people say you need to eat more broccoli or more kale, that's not for everybody, because we just have different experiences. So, but I do believe it's good to take a break sometimes from cooked food for sure. For everybody to do that and live that way all the time, I don't know. I can't really say. So I don't like a lot of raw food. Is that the same person that said we need to eat more raw foods? That's weird. That's interesting. Either one. Okay. Well, when it comes to digestive issues, I've actually researched that it is better to actually have lightly cooked foods, which is weird because it's not weird actually. It kind of makes sense just looking at it from a bird's eye view. It's harder for the body to digest raw foods. So cooked foods actually soften the foods and it's softer on the digestive system. Now, with that said, that doesn't mean cook the hell out of your food and have it cooking for 2 hours, 3 hours. Okay. If you're eating foods that take that long to cook, think about what that says about that food and how your body is going to break that down. If you have to cook a food that long, your body is going through a lot of stuff that it's going to be tough. So that may be the reason of your constant bloating or your skin issues and all these other kind of different things that I'm seeing come up. Okay. But it can be a lot. And I know it's tough because there's, the ribs dripping off with the barbecue sauce, just making things look appetizing and just really interesting and fun. It's barbecue season, all this kind of stuff. But which one do you want to go for is what you got to kind of have to ask yourself. And deep down, most of you guys feel like you really want to break up with these foods, which is what I'm here for. I'm not here to take away your fun. I'm not here to take away, just life and all those kind of things. But I promise you, once you go through certain things, you'll wonder why you stayed stuck for so long. Okay. You just feel like your favorite foods are the place to be because you haven't experienced anything else. Okay, right, exactly. Okay, so I'm seeing some hearts go up. Okay, so let's continue to talk about how to break this up for real. Okay, so what you want to do, the first thing you want to do is name your ex. Okay, name your ex. Say his or her name out loud, whatever that it is. Somebody said ribs. Okay, yes, chicken. All right, some of you guys said earlier cheese. For me, it was chitlins a long time ago. Now I want to throw up just thinking about it. So name whatever your ex is, name it out loud. That's step number one. And then step number two, you want to know when they call or text. Okay? Yes, I know it sounds funny, okay? But if you think about a relationship with a human, I'm just going to say men. In my experience, dating men, they got on a pattern. They just got on a routine. They would call at the same time or text you at the same time or say certain things at the same time of year. It's just a routine that they have. Okay? But the same thing comes with your ex food, your ex plate. Okay? Are they calling you or texting you at the same time of the night? Do you get this craving for chips at the same time of night? What is the emotion that you're feeling? How does that make you feel when you're just thinking about that ex plate? What kind of environment are you in? These are the things that you got to pay attention to, because as I always talk about, food is rarely about the food itself. It's about the feeling. So if you're sitting on your couch and you're watching TV, boom, you got to have some snacks, right? You don't have to, but that's what you're used to. If you don't have the snacks and you're just watching TV, you feel like something's missing. So in comes the loneliness, right? So yeah, so journal those things: the time, the emotion, and your environment that you're in. Okay? Then step number 3, you want to interrupt the pattern. So if you feel like you have to have sweets after every meal, like I used to have to do, like I could not, I had bowls strategically placed in my place, um, because I wanted to be really convenient to have to pop something in my mouth, right? But now you just got to interrupt the pattern. It's not about perfection, just pattern interruption. So, what does pattern interruption look like for you guys? Go for a walk. Okay, good. Sip some water. You guys in my school have been listening and paying attention, right? Yes. Do the alkalizing breaths. Good job. Absolutely. If you feel like you need to do something with, whether it's feeling like you're eating or consuming something, you can boil some tea. And I know this doesn't sound exciting, that tea compared to a piece of chocolate cake. I get it. But the reason is what we're doing, we're starting to listen to our bodies, because we don't always just crave chocolate cake all the time, right? What that is, that let's just say, for example, someone listening and they crave chocolate all the time. What your body is actually asking for is magnesium, is asking for minerals because it's depleted. Okay? Right, exactly. It's depleted. So the reason why we go toward cake or something, for example, is because that's all we've trained our bodies to do. But once you actually feed your body the true nutrients that it's asking for, and I know this sounds corny because I've heard it growing up through college and all that kind of stuff. And I'm like, nutrients, blah, blah, blah. I don't care about that kind of stuff. But it really, truly is a thing. Once you feed your body more of the good, just don't worry about removing the bad. Don't worry about that. Just feed your body more of what it's truly, truly asking for. It'll start to wean out the things that you want to break up with. I promise you this. This is not just from my experience. This is from hundreds, actually a few thousand of women that I've already worked with, okay? And it's in research too, okay? So it truly, truly works. So come to my school if you guys want to know some of those tips and tricks on how to incorporate more of the good, and then it'll slowly, quietly weave out the bad on its own. And then the last step, you just create the distance, okay? You can't heal while you're staying in daily contact with something. So, and when it comes to a human, again, we're going back to the X. If you are staying in constant contact with your ex that you're trying to break up with, how does that work? Doesn't work really very well, right? So I know with, some of you guys, when you break up with a human, you may block them from your phone, you may block them from social media. Same thing when it comes to food. Some of the simple things, well, it's not really simple, but some of the things that I hear all the time from coaches online, they're like, just don't buy the food. And I'm like, yeah, that sounds cool. But actually, when I tried that once or twice, it frustrated me even more and made me even more angry that I didn't have that food to lean on at the time of emergency. Okay. So this is what I did instead. When I had my infatuation with chips, you guys, the chip craving was through the roof. I would buy 4 and 5 bags of chips a week. And I wanted to buy more if it wasn't that expensive. And I just, the guilt of it all wouldn't allow me to buy more. but I was averaging buying 4 or 5 bags of chips per week. Okay. Number one, your snacks, the type of snacks that you buy, it actually tells you a story of why you want a particular thing, what you're going through. Salty chips, especially the crunch and the salt, it basically lets you know that you're stressed out. Okay, so that's why that information about just don't buy the chips, that didn't work because it stressed me out even more. I'm already stressed out, so I needed something to calm me down. Okay, so I bought the chips. And so what I would do after a while, I got to a point to where I was like, okay, let me try my pause. What a pleasure, which is something that is taught in ancient wisdom called Kabbalah. You just pause for a second instead of just getting off the couch and immediately going to the cabinets. Pause. What a pleasure. Say it out loud. Okay. Then you want to do 3 alkalizing breaths. And you guys in school, you guys already know about this, but if you're joining from social media, I have a video on my YouTube about how to appropriately do alkalizing breaths. Okay. It's just inhale for 4 seconds, hold your breath for 3, then exhale for a 6 to 8 second count. You want to do that for 3 cycles back to back. Okay. And you'll be amazed at what that does. It just sends a message to your nervous system that we're okay. We're safe. And when your nervous system feels safe and calm, guess what? Your choices end up being more intelligent, more beneficial to your body. It's so interesting on how that works, but it truly, truly works, you guys. Okay. So give yourself 10 minutes. Create that gap between I want some chips and actually getting the chips. Give yourself 10 minutes, not sitting there stressed out, not sitting there angry and upset, but do some actual things like getting up, going for a walk, doing the alkalizing breaths, talking to your creator, whatever you got to do to give at least 10 minutes. And if 10 minutes goes by and you still just really, 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 really want those chips, guess what? Have the chips. Have the chips, because you can give yourself time to get to a place to where you don't want it. Because again, this is not about perfection. This is not about trying to change overnight, because we've built habits for 20, 30, 40, 50 years. Is not going to be perfect in one night. We already know that, right? So do those steps. Thank you. Thank you. Yes. Do those steps, and that'll help you wean yourself off of these foods that you love currently, but don't love you back. Okay? Now, last thing, I need you guys to really, really hear me, okay? Breaking up with food is not about punishment. It's not about restriction. It's not about willpower. It's not about discipline, okay? This is about just self-respect. It's about choosing peace over pleasure. It's about freedom over familiarity. It's about healing over the continuous habits, okay? So again, this whole perfection thing, throw it out the window. The goal is basically to become aware enough to stop portraying yourself. Because again, deep down, you know that you're tired of feeling this way. You're tired of starting over every Monday and every January, or every Monday and then back with that X by Friday. Okay. That's exactly why Fed Up exists, though, because I know the trenches, I know the ups and downs, and I know the psychology behind of why we do the things that we do. So as we close, I want you guys to drop your toxic X food below. Let me know what food keeps blocking you and keeps spinning the block on you. And what does that toxic food plate look like that you want to break up with now? Thank you. Yes, absolutely. Okay. This is a great conversation. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. We can change and we can do this. Absolutely. Yes. I'm telling you, you are looking at a Southern girl that was raised on chitlins, chicken, and cheese. I used to have those foods all the time. Now I just want to throw up just thinking about it. Okay. But it did not happen overnight. And because I didn't have a system, it took me years. And I'm talking about years. That is the very reason why I went back to school to get my PhD, to understand, why am I like this? What is wrong with me? Why can't I stop? That's the very reason why I went back to school to get my doctorate, you guys. And it took me almost 8 years to figure this out. But now I've cracked the code to the system on how to break up with foods that don't love us. Okay. If you guys want to quantum leap into this breakup because you're sick and tired of being sick and tired, join me in my school. I'm doing a free masterclass on this Sunday at 7:30 Central, 8:30 Eastern. So join it. Chips and sweets. Yes, join me today. Join me right now. Join the school, and you'll get access to my free master class. And I answer a lot of your questions then, and how to break up with your foods. Okay. If you join the class and you complete it, I'll give you a free one-on-one consultation with me, so I can spend some time with you to see what your specific situation is. Because again, everybody's different. Everybody has different struggles. Everybody's family dynamic is different. So, I want to be able to help you personally to be able to break up with your chips and your sweets and your cakes and your cookies and your pies. Oh my. Right? So yeah, I appreciate you guys joining me for Think Thursdays. Be here for next Thursday at 3 o'clock. But I hope to see you guys on Sunday. Okay, Sunday for the masterclass. But it's only inside of my school. I don't do this on the social media platforms. Okay, only in my school. All right. I'll see you guys next time. Deuces.